The Chamishi looks like we're sitting outside, but we're sitting inside. And we're last time we spoke about cholov Yisroel, L'chaim, the Rebbe soll ins Galle werden und rausbringen ins von Kolus, Mathe Masarat Tfachim, Teke vom Yad Mamish, Gula Mitis war Shlema, alles verbunden. We spoke about last time about cholov Yisroel, but we didn't get into the differences between Nigla and Nister, which we promised to do. We did it and then we cut it off and we edited it. So I'm not drinking any cholov Yisroel, I'm just having a plain black espresso with water. And I have over here a micro cassette, from the old times, because when you tape old people, so they don't know what you're holding in your hand if you're holding a tape recorder. So if you show them this, they know that they're speaking to a tape recorder. It's good for them legally, and they understand to speak. You record people's stories. So similar to the beard in Chabad, it's not a halachic thing, even though some people base it on the Tzemach Tzedek and they say that you're over in 5 lavin. Of course, enough poskim say that it's okay, including the Tur, the Shulchan Aruch itself. So the issue of the milk is believed to be a spiritual more than a natural, a supernatural over a natural explanation. Meaning that it's metamtem alev amoyach, which nobody knows what that means, and its effects are in a supernatural realm, because according to halacha there is no ein l'dayin al masha ein avrayos, there is no visible, tangible, demonstrable side effect of cholov stam and even cholov akum. That it was menasach for all the avodah zaros in the world with Yisroel, Kohen, Midyan, and everything else. Nothing happens to the actual cow's milk. I'm having a piece of chocolate. Might have, it's Belgium, might have some milk. I'll check the ingredient. Maybe milk and drops of chazer dripped in it. Okay, so what we mentioned, I like to add, was that coming from a Chabad yeshiva, we never really asked questions. We were following and we kept it and all that. By the coffee machine in the office, there were some Litvische boys who were very frum. Frum meaning they never spoke Lashon Hara, they never spoke Nivel Peh. So watching these boys who were big Yirei Shemayim and Balei Midas Tovis and Talmidei Chachamim drink the cholov stam on a regular basis every day and not even trouble themselves to get cholov Yisroel. I mean, they live in a city like Los Angeles, and that guy, his own uncle owns the kosher supermarket. For him to get cholov Yisroel would be effortless. So I thought to myself, it started making me think about the evidence, meaning, where does it affect the person? Does it affect his personality? Does it affect his soul? Which part of the soul? The nefesh ruach neshama chayechida? Does it affect atzmus umahus himself? Maybe the milk, the cholov stam, gets flicked onto Hashem himself, which that shouldn't be a problem, because that's not going to rebound onto the Asiya, definitely not an Asiya Gashmi, for sure not. So if you could forgive me, I'm just grabbing something at the supermarket for Shabbos. So the same question goes for the wine, but we're tackling the cholov Yisroel. So a lot, b'chlal in religion, a lot of things that as the religion moved, not just through space, meaning leaving Israel and becoming a religion based on rules, also became also laws that were based in time. So as the time moved every 1,000 years, so there was attempts to explain things from ruchni, like spiritual, So to take an example from science, sometimes in science a question comes unexpected, you open up a whole new regime of questions that lead to new answers and new questions, like especially the origin of the universe, where before Edwin Hubble, 1900s, goes up and sees that the galaxies are moving away from each other. So such questions would never have been speculated. They wouldn't have been scientific. So, and of course in the future there will be new questions answered, hopefully while science reaches deeper. And like an onion, you take off layers and layers and you keep on finding out new things. So my first speculation was when I saw this Yiddish Shamayim, Yaakov Nerola. He was drinking very from household. Obviously they shaved Erev Shabbos and they're drinking the cholov Yisroel. And I thought, wow, Timtum Halev v'Hamayach, I'm a lot more gas than him. And I'm drinking cholov Yisroel since I was a baby. And that made me want to know, where in the natural world does the Timtum Halev v'Hamayach take place? Does it take place in my mind, in my consciousness, in my personality? The same question of where does the soul exist, where is the soul reside, and what is the soul, and what space does it take up, and is it just something mythical that people used to believe keeps you alive, which now with X-rays and modern medical science we know answers to all the questions that the soul could have placed. So I looked at Yaakov drinking the milk in the morning, and one day, without figuring out the supernatural answers, because there's no way to define it, there's no way to quantify it or qualify these stuff. But the words Timtum Halev v'Hamayach, that's a claim that's half natural. It's not completely understandable. What the hell does Timtum Halev v'Hamayach, a stuffed heart and mind, mean? However, I came to, so without uncovering supernatural claims, which is almost impossible to do, right? The lady down the street tells you that she's going to clear you for $59 of some bad spirits. You could say I'm okay, I'm fine, I have no problems. But how are you gonna know? How are you gonna disprove it, right? What if you're gullible? How would you know that doesn't exist? So I just said to myself, what am I? And I just put the milk in the coffee, and that was the first time I tasted it. And you're trying to basically taste the supernatural taste inside the milk, which unless I had some psychological preconceived notions, I probably was feeling nothing. So the reason why this is so convincing to rational people, remember the trick about science, as Richard Feynman said, is that it's the trick about science and the oiftu of science is that you shouldn't fool yourself, and you are the first person to be fooled. Fooled means your senses. You're using your senses to know what is reality and if reality is b'chlal. So you use science to basically not fool ourselves. So the reason why this concept of Timtum Halev v'Hamayach and cholov Yisroel, and it's half halachic, half Kabbalistics, half spiritual, half material, like the mythical man who is half angel, half man, like Moshe Rabbeinu, or that comes from the ancient pagan mythologies. These claims, the reason why they're so convincing is because it's hard to quantify and qualify it, to complete it, to understand it, and basically answer the question. A lady just passed with her child, and she said, "Oh, it smells like wine," which I doubt it smells like wine here, because that would mean that there's a broken bottle. But it's interesting, because these are like, it's like saying, "Oh, my soul was moved." You don't literally mean your soul, right? So you say you listen to a great musical, you say, "Oh, my soul was moved." So you say it smells like wine. It means that your eye doesn't see, your brain sees, right? So with the mind, you see with the mind, so you could sense that smell. So that's why this lingered on for so long, for so many people. This what I could use the word delusion about the negative effects of cholov Yisroel, that my friend had to schlep to Hong Kong bottles of frozen milk, is because the question was the claim was very tactful. The claim that this is harmful, And it just breaks my heart because my classmates, and I only have one set of classmates. I can't adopt a guy and say, oh, this is my childhood friend. That would be nonsense. My classmates who were the best guys, and the best meaning that they were the biggest believers. And they're the best in terms of very devout, very pious, are the ones that got hit the worst. Until today, how are you going to sit down and quantify and explain to the person that this timtum halev amoyach nishke steigen und nishke fleigen, and why the Mekubbalim did it, and why the Mekubbalim explained hairs on the facial hairs on the face to be this, to be brachas, and here to be dinim. Aside for them having lots of time on their hands, they had to explain different things, especially human suffering having a cosmic effect. So thank you for watching. I hope I completed at least one inyan here, and then maybe next time. Okay, I'll get the wine now, the magically blessed wine with the hechsher.